Ladies and gentlemen, your presenter for today is Megel.
Good morning and welcome here to the BC TechDays in Antwerp. As you mentioned, my name is Megel. I'm an enterprise architect and software and DevOps engineer from Cosmo Consult. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. So I'm very proud to stay here in front of you and see all those keen faces which are hungry about Power Platform. Today, I want to present you my favorite tool. It's the ALM Accelerator for Power Platform. This tool helps me to apply in Power Platform a standardized software development process in combination with Azure DevOps, pipelines, and fully automation of deployments. But first of all, wait a second. Let's answer two questions. What is application lifecycle management? And furthermore, why do we need this in Power Platform? The first one is answered very quickly because of its definition. It's about defining development, testability, quality assurance, deployments, and for sure, continuous maintenance of software products. And this might be familiar to you because of you are experienced Business Central developers, hopefully also in Power Platform. And you know in Power Platform, we need the same principles because it is also software development, especially when we do something together between both systems. And Power Platform, we have seen in the keynote a short overview. It is a set of products. We have there Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI to analyze some data from Business Central or from other data sources. We have the new kids on the blocks like Power Virtual Agents and Power Pages, formerly known as Power Apps Portals. Underneath of these mighty technologies, we have other fancy things like connectors. I guess in the keynote someone told us 650 plus connectors. I guess it's even more because of you can set up some own connectors when there is an API. Furthermore, we have Power of X. It is the low-code language for Canvas apps. And finally, AI Builder, which brings us artificial intelligence to our products and Dataverse. And this was, for me, a hard one to understand what is the difference between Power Platform and Dataverse. For that reason, let's repeat. Power Platform is just a set of products. Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and so on. And small adjustment. Hopefully. Perfect. Thank you. So let's continue. Power Platform, just a set of products, and it uses Dataverse as a native storage capability. Dataverse itself, I have discovered it pretty late because I started with Canvas apps. Dataverse is nothing else as the formerly known CRM. And Dataverse, for sure, is a database with customizable tables. Remember NAV or Business Central, we have the same things there. We can create some own tables, customized tables. Here in Dataverse, we store Power Apps in records, Power Automated Flows in records. We have some own tables like accounts, contacts, products, data related to the CRM world. Let's discuss application lifecycle management and Business Central and Power Platform. And from my point of view, the most used products from Power Platform, except Power BI, it's a different story, are Power Apps and Power Automated Flows. you need something to connect to Business Central, and you might have also used Dataverse. For that reason, let me show you another picture to clarify the thing. On the left side, you see Business Central. We all know it. It is an environment containing a database, our tables, pages, reports, code units, all the stuff, and APIs. Furthermore, on the right side, you see Dataverse. It is an environment, and we have there the Power Platform products like Power Apps, Power Automate Flows, Dataverse Tables. When we connect both systems, and this will be the future because of it is so easy to connect both systems, we use connectors. Connectors rely on APIs on Business Central, and obviously connectors in Dataverse, which helps us to bring this data to a flow or invoke something in Business Central. Furthermore, you also might have known there's a second option, virtual tables. And thus, I would say a virtual table is nothing else than you have a physical table in Business Central, for example, and a virtual sibling which feels like a real table in Dataverse. In conclusion, you can connect this table in Dataverse with other tables, and the same in Business Central. So a shared world between both. It's a mighty technology. But back to my application lifecycle management story. And during the preparation of my story, I thought I need something, well, ridiculous to show you here my love to Power Platform. And some of our other speakers might say, well, Power Fluff and Business Central, how can you present me this? And why not together with beer? Because from beer now I have learned Business Central and beer is every time a great story. For that reason, I have decided today we have a beer tasting event. It was announced by Luc. And furthermore, well, we have a lot of hungry or thirsty speakers, which could be the beer tasters. In conclusion, let's do something between Power Platform and Business Central and show you an application lifecycle management story in both worlds regarding to my beer tasting app in Business Central as well as in Power Platform. In the last workshops I have learned it is not so new, or it is mostly new to you how to set up such demo environments. For that reason, here's a screen where I shortly explain to you and also recommend to do this, to use the Microsoft Customer Digital Experience. I use this normally to set up my demo environments, and I use for this Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement. This is because there are all licenses which I need, especially for Power Platform. Furthermore, I can set up there more than one environment in Power Platform. And the other stuff, Business Central, is easily attached because of I need also for a complete application lifecycle management story 3 environments. Enough with the prerequisites. Let's go to Business Central development process. Should be familiar to you. For that reason, I don't have to introduce here so much. For my demo app, I can use standard objects like item table, contacts, standard APIs like the items API, or I can also extend everything. You know this because of you are writing apps. I'm not the best consultant. For that reason, I always create my demos by extending something with a minimum impact. For that reason, I have extended the items table, items pages, and so on, and have added also an additional API because of I want to add some more data and receive some data in my Power App. It's not so complicated. It's just an API page which you have to add. And, well, I want to store my beer and my speakers in this database tables. Let's go on. How does a normal application lifecycle management process look in Business Central? You define your tasks. In my company, we use our company tooling, Alpaca. We set up everything. For that reason, we start in Azure DevOps boards. We define our backlog. Furthermore, we develop in VS Code, have some Docker automation and so on, include tests, review this code during pull requests, have build automation, create artifacts, have our app. And finally, for ALM, you have learned, define, develop, test, build, deploy. We need to automatically, come on, wrong button, to deploy it. Let me show you this very quickly here at my demo environment. And now is the question how to move to the opposite. Yes, you should see something. Perfect. This is my Azure DevOps backlog with some tasks. Nothing special. I have user stories, I have written code. For that reason, I have repositories. When this repository loads, containing an app, containing a test app, with some source code, tables, queries, whatever. Nothing special to you. Furthermore, I have build automation, some pipelines. Here you see, I use our own set of pipelines. It compiles my app. Afterwards, this app is stored as an artifact in the artifact feed. And furthermore, we have release pipelines to deploy my app to my environments. Here you see there are a couple of deployments still there. I can go to quality assurance, say, well, I have tested it. Please deploy it to the next stage, and it starts immediately after I give my approval. Nothing new. In Business Central, well, I have 1, 2, 3 environments, production, quality assurance, and user acceptance test. Let's move to Business Central and see if an app is installed. I go to the extension management, and there should be an app, Best Beer. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Here it is. Perfect. This is nothing new to you because of it's a standardized process. I use a backlog, define my user stories, develop, build my app automatically, test my app automatically, deploy my app automatically. And furthermore, I've shown you the result is there, the app is installed. Strong process, fully automated. What is with Power Platform? And to dig into this chapter, we have to talk about also citizen developers, because of mostly they develop Power Apps and Power Automate flows. Microsoft have designed this technology to give our customers the possibility to create software around our products and around our customer extensions. From perspective of a citizen developer, it is a very minimized endless loop between he starts with an ID, maybe at the backlog, he develops something on his computer in Power Platform, and he uses and shares this app. Nothing else. It's also application lifecycle management, because he improves everything afterwards. As a pro developer, I want to have more. This is a reason why I use ALM Accelerator for Power Platform. I want to have source code management, like in Business Central. I want to have pipelines, also like in Business Central, to deploy my apps. Because of This gives me the freedom to rely on a stable process, which is automated. Let's look again to Power Platform and to application lifecycle management. And Power Platform, you might have seen when you look to your own environments, there's just the default environment. At our customer side, it's the same story. The default environment is still there because it comes with Office. You might have the possibility to use some connectors there, or some connectors are blocked. This is depending on the IT guys, which might have set up a data loss prevention policy. So they have restricted something in this environment. For that reason, larger companies have for sure a need of different environments. For instance, for their sales department, they want to do a lot with Twitter and so on and tweet every day a new opportunity. Well, the finance department needs access to Business Central because of they have some invoices stored on OneDrive and whatever, and they want to automate things. You see the combination between Business Central as well as Power Platform. Both can go hand in hand. Furthermore, we have production. This is a very, how should I say? It's a critical environment because of we do something with our manufacturing execution system based on the data of Business Central. Or, for instance, HR, they have confidential data. For ALM, we need 3 environments because of we want to separate everything. We want to separate development from test, from production. This makes sense because of, as a developer, I've learned I do my things in my isolated environment. Afterwards, I ship my app to the test environment. I test it with some test data. And furthermore, I ship it to production, where it is used. If I find any problem, I go back to development, fix this problem, and roll out my app again, like we do in Business Central. We don't do anything in production and fix it there. I hope you don't do this. In conclusion, when you apply this environment strategy to the departments of Power Platform, for instance, for sales, they do something with Business Central and Dataverse. So we need there also 3 environments. In HR, the same story. Here, they are using just something in Dataverse. And finance, they have mostly Business Central, but they need also 3 environments for Dataverse to apply a full application lifecycle management story. Another issue might be the development process of a citizen developer. It is easy to create a Power Automate flow. It is easy to create a Canvas app. And it is easy to use a flow outside or a flow from a Canvas app. What happens is you have in between a dependency. And citizen developers normally start by deploying things manual because of they export the flow, import the flow inside of the test environment. What happens is they might break this dependency. In conclusion, the Power App in test environment doesn't work anymore. They have to go back, bring over the Power App from development to test. This might work for one Power App and one Power Automated flow. But trust me, not if you have 20 flows. For that reason, you need something else. And it's a construct which I guess is well known for us in Business Central. In Dataverse, it is called solution. A solution is nothing else than in Business Central an app. It's a wrapper where you can put in your components, like Canvas apps, flows, environment variables, permission sets, and so on. A lot of stuff. Furthermore, you see here, a solution have a publisher, a prefix, unique name, version. Sounds to me like an app manifest. In Dataverse, it is called solution manifest. So you describe your solution to others. Mostly not known for those who start with Canvas apps and Power Automate Flow. It was also not known for me, as someone told me, use a solution to transport everything. Solutions can be managed and unmanaged. And let me shortly explain it. A managed solution is a sealed package. It is just used to install something. You cannot export a managed solution from an environment. This is not possible. For that reason, you have unmanaged solutions for development. This solution can export it either as unmanaged, to restore it afterwards, or as a managed solution to transport it to the test environment or the production environment. Furthermore, during the installation process of such a solution, all containing customizations and components are applied to the target system. That means if you have changed some tables, this is applied. It's the same story like in Business Central, nothing new. Or? So, you can install and uninstall such a solution from an environment. During uninstall, everything is removed, and you have dependency. Unfortunately, not so good like in Business Central, where you can define a dependency to another solution. This isn't there. You must ensure that everything what you have used inside of your solution exists in the target environment. Let's look to the deployment process with solutions. Remember, before we had here this single Canvas app, this flow with the relation in between. And a deployment process with solutions is, to be honest, much easier because of you ship the whole package from one environment to another environment. The relation in between still exists, and you can test it as a whole package. If something in the package fails, go back to development, fix this problem, and ship it again. Sounds for me as a good solution. Let's go to my beer testing demo app. First of all, I've shown you I have still installed the Business Central app. In Business Central, it is there. But there are no beers, no items, no contacts. I'm not ready for test. For that reason, I have decided I need something to put some data into this environment. I have 3 environments. I would have to add at least a couple of records, 51 speakers, 6 beer cans to each environment. Manual, it's not an option to me. For that reason, I do it automatically. I use a Power Automate Flow to import data in Business Central. And to do this, I have set up this flow right in my development environment in Dataverse. And I use here some data based on JSON. To show you this, let me shortly again introduce my manual deployment plan. I have my development environment, and I ship my solution from development to finance, and there I run my flow to import the data into Business Central. To do this and give you some more details here, inside of my Power Automate Flow, I use the connector from Business Central. You have seen it in the keynote. When I go to this connector, it asks me about an environment name and a company name. Furthermore, I have to select an API and a table. When I do this, you see there are some fixed values, like quality assurance for my QA environment, where I develop against currently, and Kronos US Inc. I guess it's not a good choice to include these fixed values in my solution, because of when I ship it to the other environment, it should also point to the respective Business Central environment as well. The rest, the API, BIOS, and so on, this can stay because it's related to the same objects which I have in the target environment. To solve this problem, Power Platform provides environment variables. And this might be new to you if you use Canvas apps or Power Automated Flow. Environment variables helps you to make a solution configurable. This means you have a key value pair, what is requested during the import process in a target environment. You can specify there the target environment. Furthermore, you have seen this connector uses a connection to my Business Central, which I define during the development process in Power Automate. This connection can be abstracted by using a connection reference inside of my solution, and this connection reference itself must also be configured in the target environment. Well, let's do this. Environment variables for my solution are Business Central environment and Business Central company. I use the type text. You see here a short screenshot of it. And furthermore, I have added the values for this environment variables inside of my development environment in Power Platform. Furthermore, these current values are currently included inside of my solution. For that reason, I need to exclude them because I won't ship them with my package to the next environment. I want to configure it in the target environment. The same story, when I use it here, you see the same connector like before, but for the environment name, I have just used this environment variable. This is only possible when both is inside of a solution. And you access this environment variables easily by clicking on this Add Dynamic Content. It is presented to you. This means we are able to build software in Power Platform, which is configurable, which can be shipped to another environment, because you can set up something. And this is important. Keep this in mind. The same story we have here with the connection. The connection is just there, and now we need to set up the connection easily for this solution. There are these three bubbles right at the connector, and you see down in this red box, there is my connection reference, which I use inside of my connector. Sometimes when you add some components to your solution, you must adjust this so that everything works. And finally, I have here a blueprint of my Power Automated Flow. It shows you on the left side, I set up some, I can't read it, I set up some beers. And on the right side, I set up some speakers. The same procedure. First of all, I use the standard API from Business Central to search for contacts or items. If they exist, I remove them. And afterwards, I use the Business Central action to import this information to save a record or add a record. And finally, I want to roll it out, and let me show this more in detail here, what I have explained right now. For that reason, let's move back to my Power Platform. Okay, let's go to my solution. And wait a second. Let's show you all components of my solution. You see here a Canvas app. This comes a little bit later in place. I have here my connection reference regarding to Business Central, because currently it is using my local development environment information. And I have two environment variables, the company as well as the environment name of the target system. Let me shortly check. You see, no value is there because of I have excluded this value. When I go here, for instance, again to add, it will immediately appear because the value is stored inside of this environment. Let's cancel this because of I don't want to ship this. And furthermore, I have here my Power Automated Flow. Let's check this in my current environment to run it, and we will see it needs maybe an approval from my side. Run this flow, fine. And let's wait a second. There it is, this run. And the flow run just goes down a loop over some beers. Here, 6 beers we see. It's not completed because of it is transporting data to Business Central. Afterwards, this data will be there. Okay, let's check this here in Business Central. If I have some speakers at my QA environment, and goes there. Speakers are there. Perfect. Sounds great to me. Let's export my solution and ship it manual to the next environment. For that reason, I go back here, go to my BC TechDays demo, say export, and well, I could also again publish my changes. I did this before because of this takes some time, and click on the next button. I want to export a managed solution because of I want to have a sealed package which I can install in the next environment. And click on export. Then the export starts. This takes a while. For that reason, I have prepared it with a previously export. And let me open another environment, maybe this one, and try to import my solution there. Perfect. I go to import solution, browse it. Let's see, here was the previously exported solution as a managed solution, and I want to use it. Go to the import dialog. Oh, it says it is already installed. Damn. Let's use another environment. Don't panic. Let's use this one, maybe. It's also not working. Damn. You have to trust me. I have to select there the environment variables, and I have to set up also my connections for this connection references. Well, overall, this is a good process, but it is still manual. My currently Power App is still in production. It will become later into play. it is a kind of application lifecycle management because I do something manual. I export my solution, I import my solution, but it is not a real solution for Power Platform and not what I want to have, what I want to want. For that reason, I need source code management, I need automation for my solution transport as well. And you are here to see what means professional application lifecycle management for Power Platform. And this is related to a tool where we can both go together. The citizen developer with the minimized manual workflow and me as a pro developer with which is the master of the test environment and production environment. Because of I rely on source code management, on code review, testability, and automated deployment. So let's give this citizen developer a handshake and use the ALM Accelerator for Power Platform. You might make a picture of these links. I can strongly recommend to go to Microsoft Docs. There is a lot of information about the setup, about how to use and how to implement this process automatically. Furthermore, this package is open source. It is from Microsoft. It is part of the Center of Excellence. It was created from the PowerCat team. This means the Power Platform Customer Acceleration team from Microsoft. And if you find some problems, please go to GitHub, report an issue, request a feature, or improve this product. It helps a lot because we all need such software to align a completely automated development process for Power Platform. When I set up this tool, I need to do a lot in mostly everything what we have. I need to do something in Dataverse, I need to do something in Azure DevOps, as well as in Azure, because of all systems must talk together over the ALM Accelerator for Power Platform. But don't worry, you need also a lot of rights, and you have to compile currently the tool which is included inside of the Center of Excellence. It's the CoE CLI. This tool helps you to install everything. And yesterday in my workshop, we ran this tool. Unfortunately, we failed on the rate limit of GitHub because of everyone tried to download the things at the same time from the same IP address. To show you a little bit more about the installation process, it's just a command line which you have with the CoE CLI. You see here a short dialog which opens and collects some information about my whole environments. I need to specify some names for security groups. I must also collect some URLs. I must point to my Azure DevOps environment because it must be there. I have to specify where is my pipelines repository and so on. Mostly it's click, enter, click, enter, click, enter using the defaults. Or you just later some of the JSON information. What happens during the whole installation? You see here Dataverse. There is a solution which is imported. It's the tool. It is a solution inside of Dataverse. Something for our citizen developers which are not able to do something in Azure DevOps, but they are able to click a button to invoke something. Furthermore, it imports there a user which is used by Azure DevOps because of there is the automation. And this automation needs also a repository where we can the source code of Canvas apps, Power Automated Flows, Dataverse tables, and so on. When I have a source code repository, I want to build an app. That means I have there also some pipelines. And these pipelines uses connection to Dataverse to import the solution automatically, as well as to export it previously. I have also to set up some branches for the full development process. In Azure, we have an app registration, we have a security group, which is used to add there some persons which can use this tool. Finally, you have here something in Azure, you have an app registration, you have an AAD group, where you can share this tool with the makers inside of the Power Platform, and you have the playground of the maker. This is a Canvas app, which invokes something at Power Platform and invokes something in Azure DevOps to start all this automation. And obviously, you have my Pro Developer Playground, the automation. So I have nothing to do. Everything comes out of the box. Everything is installed, configured, and ready to use. What I now have to do is to teach this process. For that reason, let's talk about what does it mean, professional application lifecycle management for Power Platform, and using this tool. What do I have to do to explain to a citizen developer or someone who is only active in the Power Platform? I need to explain professional development, I need to explain how he can use this automated deployment, and I need to empower him to collaborate with others. For that reason, professional development, you know it from Business Central, it needs to start on a clean, isolated environment. You need to restore your stuff based on code. Furthermore, I need to store all my changes frequently because I want to have a backup of it. In Power Platform, well, we have a Canvas app. It's inside. So now I need to take this Canvas app outside of the Power Platform and store it in the repository because there is the source code. And last but not least, I might have to clean up my development environment before I start developing something else. In detail, this means the source code is inside of my Git repository. The task is very simple. I need to restore an unmanaged solution based on the source code and import it into the Power Platform. This solution contains here a Canvas app. Later, my maker starts to modify everything, and he adds maybe a Power Automated flow. This is the time where he needs to store everything again. This means he saves his unmanaged solution. And something must be there to automatically extract the source code from the solution and store it in the repository. But to be honest, no maker will do this manual. Finally, I have told you, we need to remove everything to clean up. The secondary story, automated deployment. You know, this needs a little bit preparation. Unfortunately, you haven't seen it, that I have to configure my environment variables during the import manual. When I have an automated import, for that reason, I need to prepare it before I can use an automated import in any target environment. I need to look at my solution and say, well, what connections do I have in my development environment? Furthermore, I must go to my target environments and set up everything. So the connection references are there, as well as the environment variables that I use are correctly configured. Furthermore, when you know how to use or how to develop Power Automated flows, they can be in place as there's also the necessary to specify an activation user or to give it a proper owner. in the target environment. In detail, on the left side, I have my Power Platform development environment, and I need to look at this environment, grab there the configuration information, put it down to Azure DevOps, to my pipelines, and finally, this information will be used during the import in all of my environments. Sounds easy. Let's see what the tool can do for us here. For that reason, let me move to the tool, and it is here. You've seen it before. There is my Maker portal to do everything. Here on the right side, I can select my environments. Currently, I'm in the development environment. Perfect. Furthermore, I can commit here my solution and save it, trigger something to put it down to my Azure DevOps repository. And I have here the possibility, previously, to configure my target environments. You will see after this tool analyzes my current solution in my development environment, there are a lot of options here regarding to the next environment. Currently, it's selected validation, so change this, for instance, to production and look at this environment, what information must be configured there. You see, I have my Business Central connection reference. This must be configured. I did this before. I have here correct connection. I could create a new connection, or I can send an email to someone who have the rights in the target environment to set up such connections. Because of maybe I do a solution for HR. This solution, I cannot access the productive system in HR. I have no rights. There are confidential data of our employees, for instance. So I can tell someone else, please set up a connection for me in this environment. Go back to environment variables. Well, you see company ID is still there, and my Business Central environment is set in target environment to production. Look to our Canvas app. I want to share this Canvas app, and I can use here a team which I can create in my target environment. Furthermore, here's my created team. I have gave him a name, BC TechDays, and I have attached also an Azure Active Directory group in to this team. Furthermore, you see here some roles. These are security roles, how to work with data. I have an own security role inside of my solution because of I access data. And here I've added the basic user role, and I guess this is currently a bug, so that it shows both. But I'm pretty sure that they will change this in the future and fix this. And finally, I have my flow, which have an owner, is shared with a team, and have an activation user. If I have 20 flows here, I need to specify the order of activation. I can do this because of the automatic process will run all the stuff and activate the flows in the target environment for me. This saves me a lot of time. Furthermore, let's commit my solution. I have done my development. My Power app is perfect. Let's say BC TechDays, and well, let's say this is user story 2 or work item number 2. I store my information in my own branch based on another branch. Okay, it is there. We have to look at this later. And finally, I need to, come on, to commit this solution. What happens in the background is a command is sent to Azure DevOps. Let's see. Here I have a timer symbol. Oh, I have a build pipeline. Export solution to Git. Question: is this complicated for a Power Platform guy, for a maker? No. Finally, this pipeline starts and runs and will export my source code and store the source code inside of a Git repository. My whole Power Platform stuff is stored automatically. Let's go back to my slides and move on. Furthermore, we need collaboration. Collaboration starts mostly in Azure DevOps boards. We need to align to other development, like in Business Central. We have an app in Power Platform, we have an app in Business Central, 2 user stories, both must be traceable. I must also see what happens to this user story. I have commits inside of my Git repository, and you know from Azure DevOps, these commits can be attached to a user story. It's collaboration. But on Power Platform, we might have more collaboration, especially when we have large solutions. And to develop together in one Canvas app isn't a good thing currently. I guess Microsoft will improve this, but what you can do is collaborate on parts of the solution. Because of you have 2 makers, everyone have an own developer environment, everyone uses the base solution to restore there, make some changes, and bring it together into the Git repository by committing this stuff. And with a branching model, we can merge all this information together to build a new solution. And a new solution, when it's done, can be rolled out. Let's have a much deeper dive, and hopefully you are not too scared about when I talk about professional development, because of we have Git repositories, and Git repositories are for me the single point of truth. It is source code stored in a central point. We have the team repository, and we might have some cloned developer repositories. We bring things together. We need to manage this. And to manage this, we need also to have a controlled way to do this. You know, I have a lot of repositories, and I have a lot of environments. And to give you a brief overview how the branching model for Power Platform belongs to the environments is here a short overview. The main branch is still related to the target environment, the production environment. This means every commit there can be used to create a solution which is similar to the solution in the production environment. Furthermore, for each solution, you use a solution branch. It's respective to everything what is in test environment. It is normally used to stabilize a solution until it will be rolled out to production. And you have seen previously, my development is isolated, and I did my commits to my developer branch based on a solution branch. Again, this is something what must be done by the maker, because he defines when he is ready. For that reason, let's go to his tool and see how you invoke this process there. By the way, my export is done automatically. For that reason, I can start the deployment to a target environment. I create a pull request here. Let's give it a name, PRMME. Some release notes, yeah, do some create. Furthermore, I use my developer branch into my solution branch. This means I want to roll out my solution to the test environment. Let's deploy it there. Seems like working. Let's have a closer look. I have a pull request. And what you see also here is another pipeline run. It's a validation invoked by a policy because of my source code is now merged with the solution branch and must be validated in a separate environment, the validation environment. For that reason, this pipeline imports the created solution directly in my validation environment. This takes also a while, and let's use this time to explain this process. Behind the scenes, we have created a pull request. This means this pull request was triggering a validation pipeline. This pull request uses the source code to create a managed solution, which is automatically imported into the validation environment. When I complete my pull request, or I complete also the review of the source code, in case of Canvas apps, it makes sometimes sense, then I create a final commit on my solution branch. This triggers again the next pipeline, the rollout into my test environment. Because of every source code commit inside of my solution branch is used to import the stuff into the final environment, my test environment. And when I have stabilized my solution, I create a pull request for my solution branch into my main branch, which triggers also another pipeline, another deployment pipeline to import the solution into production. Perfect. What about multiple solutions? And the concept from Microsoft to this tool is, well, you can store multiple solutions in one repository. Because of there are some rules. Each solution is stored in an own folder. Furthermore, each solution starts from the main branch. Think about the branching model. Each solution has the same branching model, the same rules, have its own pipelines to import. Furthermore, these pipelines are triggered by changes related to the solution folder. In conclusion, we have the validation pipeline, respective to the validation environment, and the deployment pipelines for test as well as production. Nothing else. Fully automated, fully out of the box by setting up this tool, and you have a complete automated development environment in Azure DevOps for your Power Platform. And you have a Canvas app to trigger everything. Well, my solution is now exported, imported, and deployed based on this tool. From my side, it's, well, definitely a strong process. It's an easy one to transfer these solutions from one environment to another. Let's look to my beer tasting demo, because of it should be in my target environment. And for that reason, let's go to my test environment because of I've created previously there a pull request, and let's see what happens here. Come on. You see also this error message. I am not allowed to change something in my target environment because of I have a managed solution. Let's go to my Power Automated Flow and open this and run this. To get some data into my target environment, to my test environment. And click on Run. Perfect, done. It runs and imports some data into my target environment, as expected. I have rolled out my software automatically. And let's go back and start and play my Power App. Well, allow the access. Come on. Let's give it a retry. Let's say 5. Perfect. There it is. And my speakers are here. I can select my speakers, go to some one of them. Let's use AJ. I guess he likes to drink beer. And let's choose a beer kind. Oh, let's use this one. And I guess this tastes very well. Perfect. Submit this data. Go to Business Central, to my test environment, user acceptance test, and see what AJ have rated. I go to my speakers. Well, he is there, and let's see. We have no rating. What happened? Let's go to my QA environment and see what is there. Let me see. This is the wrong one. The QA is here. Perfect. Let's go to the speakers again. Go to AJ. And the rating is here. What happened? I have configured everything, but I have missed something. Currently, the connectors in Power Platform does not support the switch of an environment. You see here again my setup. And what happened is the Canvas app uses still the Business Central connectors. They are bound directly to the initial environment, to the quality assurance environment. This is a huge problem. And good thing, we can fix this by doing two things. One thing can be done by Microsoft to fix this problem and allow here environment variables for custom connectors, because of, you see here also in this slide, it is directly bound to this environment and to this company. And recently I have raised an ID at BC IT and have seen it is planned for 2023 wave 1. So this will be fixed in the future. But it would be a very, very bad end for my presentation. For that reason, I was also inspired last week by the new kid on the block, the virtual tables. And this setup is a little bit different. A virtual table is in Dataverse a physical table of Dataverse for me, for my Canvas app, and therefore I have clear connections. In conclusion, I need to change my connections to virtual tables. Let me go to my Power App and do this very quickly without developing things. Now I have virtual tables. And to show you the same stuff, after I have reloaded here, just give it a second. There it is. Let's use AJ again and use another beer. This one. And, well, only 3 stars. Submit this data. Perfect. Go here to Business Central, to my quality and to my user acceptance test page, and let's hit refresh. And now the data is correctly delivered in the right system. So you see, it is possible to change the connections also for Canvas apps. Power Automated Flow is not a problem. I can use their environment variables. Let's go back to my slide. And finally, talk about this story. You have seen application lifecycle management for Power Platform is definitely possible. It is possible in both worlds. You can automate things. You have a standardized software development process for Canvas apps, for Power Automated Flows, as well as for our well-known Business Central products. You have also learned in the keynote you can combine both worlds together by the new action, where you use a Power Automated Flow. You can put something on App Source as well. For that reason, we need also a stable development process there. And this tool brings this development process to us. On the right side, we can accelerate the development by using the common products. One is from my own company, it's Cosmo Alpaca. One is from Walter's company, it's ALOps. Or we use ALGo for GitHub. It's up to you. But you automate your development process in Business Central. And when we go to Power Platform, we can have the same automated setup and the same automation with Azure DevOps, with the full traceability from backlog, defining a user story, committing changes to a repository, automatically build a solution, and deploy the solution over 3 environments. It's nothing special. And you have seen, with a little bit magic in between, there's definitely love between both worlds. Finally, application lifecycle management is definitely needed because of it is not only Dataverse or Power Platform which have databases, development, test, and production. It is also Business Central. We have the same setup. Both worlds have the same standardized process. Both worlds can exchange data between by either using connections or using virtual tables. Furthermore, we need to deploy automatically and align our software from the development stage into the test stage, into the production stage. It is something to do professional. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I'm already here to have some questions and answers for you. Doesn't mean that I question you. You might question me, and here are also some URLs where you find my blog posts or my LinkedIn profile. Furthermore, I have these nice boxes that I can send it over to you. Do we have any questions? Can you raise your hand? Let's bring it up to him. Yes, you can do it.
Yes, thank you. Actually, I have two questions. The first is, do virtual tables work over multiple companies? I once set it up, but I had problems to connect my virtual tables to different companies in Business Central. And I wonder if this works already, or is it a limitation in the virtual tables? Do you know that?
Let me repeat. You want to know if it is possible to have the same virtual tables pointing to several companies.
Yes.
What I have learned during the setup of the virtual tables, there are 2 points. First of all, you need the same base currency. Last weekend, I have had to refurbish my whole demo environment to set up everything. And I have furthermore learned the virtual tables from one Dataverse environment only shows to one company inside of Business Central. You have seen here I have a setup of at least 4 environments in Dataverse. I have development, I have validation, because of I needed it for the policy, I have test environment, and I have production environment. But I only have 3 environments in Business Central, because of I can only set up 3 environments in a trail version. What I have done is I used in one environment the Kronos company and my company to set up the virtual tables. So to answer it, I guess the virtual tables are pointing direct to the data of a single company. Nothing else.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, I wonder how you handle a dev, test, and live environment in combination with SharePoint. Because a lot of our flows uses the connection to SharePoint, but it's harder, I guess, to maintain a test SharePoint environment. So I wonder how you maintain that.
Our SharePoint is not a problem. SharePoint have a connector which can be set up with environment variables. Because of you can set up for SharePoint especially environment variables as data type data source. So you can define a SharePoint list as well as a SharePoint site. What you have to do is you need to use this information in your Power Automated flow or in your Canvas app. The second thing is you need a test environment. Well, you need to create a SharePoint site for development, a SharePoint site for test, as well as for production. Does it answer your question?
A bit.
It's
because
like Business Central.
You should create a site for testing and a site for developing. Yes. But what if some flows create new sites?
Then I would suggest introduce
maybe
for them a how it's called. Use a prefix, like I create this as dev. So dev site X, dev site.
In the name of the site.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how we do it right now. But it's sometimes a bit complicated doing that.
For sure.
Okay, thank you.
And come down to grab your shirt after the session. Anyone else? Please throw to him.
Perfect. I don't know how relevant this is, but I've been struggling with BC and Power Apps to connect to pages to develop Power Apps, and it seemed that I could not publish it as a web service. I needed to. I don't know if it's called entities or something. You need to create a table now instead. So do you understand the complications there? Because I could not just publish a new page. So
you was not able to publish in Business Central an API page, right?
I could not connect to it through Power Apps.
Let me answer in a different way. In my demo, I have created in Business Central an API page. This is out of the box available after I publish my app, because of it is part of the standard API of Business Central. And I can select this new API in my connector. You have seen previously the screenshot where I have the environment name, the company name, and underneath I can select my API directly. And afterwards, from my API, the entity. This shouldn't be a problem. If you have some trouble with this, I still recommend to create an issue at Microsoft or contact someone from them to fix this.
Okay.
Might be something blocked, but it should work.
Okay.
Your phone? Right here.
The tool that you showed, does it work for GitHub too, or only for DevOps?
These tools are currently working only for DevOps.
Okay. Thank you.
Whoop. Don't sleep.
Hi. Yeah, my question was, were these like SaaS connectors or also work for on-prem? The ones that you showed us.
Can you please repeat it?
Were these the connectors that we saw for the Business Central?
This is the connector for Business Central.
For the SaaS or for...
This is just for SaaS, the connector.
Okay, voila.
Let me go pretty short to my environment, and let's go back here to my development environment. By the way, you saw here also the setup of the connections in my Canvas app as data, the native connector from Business Central, and underneath the virtual tables which are part of Dataverse right now. You see here, these are my connectors regarding to my API, and these are the tables which are brought in by setup the virtual tables. When you add data here, like say business, Business Central, come on, you can choose the connection, perfect, and afterwards you see here a lot of APIs when you have selected your current company. And in my case, my API from my application appeared immediately here inside of this list. Let's see beer, and you see here Cosmo/BC TechDays/v1.0.
Okay. And then I would say the on-prem is then the separate connector then. They have
I didn't write the on-prem connector because I don't have any setup for this.
Yeah, all right. Thanks.
Anyone else? So thank you for listening. And please return this ball.